Outdoor living areas have so much to offer. They can be places of quiet retreat where you can get away and spend some quiet time and take in some fresh air. It's also a good spot to spend some quality time with your family. And it's a lot of fun to have guests over and do some entertaining outdoors and maybe have some sort of cookout. Well, many people have in their backyards areas where they can do these things, such as a porch, a patio, some type of paved area around a swimming pool to do these types of activities. Well, here at our studio gardens, we've constructed a patio garden where we've got paved areas, planting spots, and other garden accessories. There are several materials you can use for paving, such as brick, flagstone, concrete, or you could use the material we've used, such as these pavers. And this is a paver called an InstaWalk concrete paver, and they are made by Alpha Concrete Products in Oklahoma City. And this particular design is called the Hearthstone, and you can see that it's a nice earthy terracotta look with some really good texture and lines in these stones. These are available at garden centers and nurseries in other retail areas such like Tulsa and Oklahoma City. And I would just like to take this time to thank all the folks at Alpha Concrete Products for providing this paving material for this garden. Well, the design that we've used is a large grid pattern where we've got all these pavers lined out on a grid where in blocks they are absent, where we can have little planting areas such as in corners and little island spots around this garden. And the design works well because the lines that the pavers create maintain this consistent pattern throughout the garden. But I think the best effect is achieved with the contrast we get between the hard surface of the pavers and the delicate foliage and flowers of some of these plants. It really outlines the form of the plant and the intricate leaf detail when you view it with a background of this paving. It just kind of makes the plants stand out a lot more. Well, the first thing we did when we set out to construct this garden was to draw up a plan or a design. Then we came out with our tape measure and our stakes and kind of lined out all the points, marked all the corners for all these planting areas. Then we got string and attached to all those stakes to kind of delineate the planting areas from the paved areas. Then, in order to have a good foundation or base for the pavers, we excavated down to about 6 inches, took that soil and used it in some other parts of our garden. Next, we decided on an edging, and we went with this treated 1x4 lumber, and we attached that with these wooden stakes with screws. And those were put in on the bed side or the outside of the patio so the sticks wouldn't interfere with the pavers. And we got the top of the edging level by using a transit, and this is a surveying tool that you can rent at local rental stores. And that enabled us to get the top of the edging level and also created a little bit of a slope. We were able to lower the edging as we went through the garden so the water would all run off in one direction. And this is real important at home if you're putting in a patio, a paved patio, because you don't want water standing on the patio, and you certainly don't want it draining toward your house. You want it to slope away from the house so that water will drain away. Well, after we had the edging in place, we then took some landscape fabric like we have right here and laid this all underneath the area to be paved and attached it with some of these landscape pins. Well, once that was in place, we then added about 4 inches of limestone screenings, kind of like we have here in this wheelbarrow. And this is a lime material that is crushed, and it has pieces of several different sizes. It also has a lot of limestone dust. So when it gets wet, it really packs down and becomes really firm and makes a really nice foundation. Well, after this, we recommend that you put about 1 inch of sand over the top of the limestone screenings, and then you're ready to add your pavers. And I would just like to remind you that every so often as you're doing this to continually measure to make sure you've got your edging in the right spot so those pavers will all fit in there. Well, once all the pavers were down, we came in and spread some sand over the top, and then with our push brooms we just kind of swept the sand into the cracks. Then using something like a rubber mallet, we would just kind of go around and lightly tamp on these to kind of set them in place. And once we were done, we had a nice patio that we hope to have for several years. And when you're doing a patio garden, it can be quite an expense, but you can spread that out over a few years. And you can do this by doing your design and then just adding a few pavers every year. In those future paving spots, you could do annual plantings, you could have a small vegetable plot, and just add the pavers later when you get more money. If you have a small backyard, you can do the entire area in this fashion of paving, planting areas, and other utility areas, and you wouldn't have to maintain any lawn. And if you live in an urban area, I think this is an excellent way to landscape those side yards, those narrow corridors between your house and your neighbor's property, where again, you eliminate having to maintain any turf. And you can go with a wonderful hardscape material.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.